Hello and welcome to the One People Show. Welcome everyone to our One People Roundtable for this week with our small studio audience, which is lovely to have again. So welcome to everybody in our studio audience.
Hi.
Dee, hi again. We haven't really just
Good morning, love.
caught up, but the world went sideways several times during the week and back again. And you did do a report, a Transconfused News report about some of the stuff, but we haven't been able to publish that as yet. And hopefully that will be coming very soon. There's
old news now.
Yeah, I know. There's a few things that I think we both want to go over, but like we said, we haven't had a chance to actually catch up and compare notes at this point. So it's a bit of a free-for-all this week. Not that that's anything all that new. Really.
Like we really plan out these shows.
No. So again, for those in our audience, if you would like to contribute, you'd like to ask a question, have any comments, anything, you just put your hand up for us. If you can see that, it'll be in your, where is it actually? In your manage participants area?
I don't know. I'm not paying attention to you right now. I'm sorry.
Wouldn't be the first time.
No.
There is a couple of things that I wanted to actually just sort of, I don't know, kind of dissect, I guess, which is one of them being what is happening in the whole alternative media scene at the moment. There was an article that you posted, Dee, or I don't know if you posted it or you shared it in some of the rooms, but I think it was Jim Stone.
Oh, yeah. It was just a little blurb he put up, and it was just like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but all of a sudden, all the alternative media are all posting the exact same thing. All the alternative, and even the mainstream media, it's all the same. Someone took a brush and just painted it right across the internet. Everyone talking about only a few certain little stories.
So are you saying that it was also matching what was going on in
I just entered the link.
Okay, matching what was going on mainstream. So it wasn't just like alternative world, we're all talking about the same thing over here, but they were actually talking about the same thing as mainstream.
Yeah, and it was like everyone was focusing on, for me, because I kind of went and looked around, and it was kind of the same where you had everyone focusing on distractions. Everyone was focusing on distractions. So for example, the whole guy that everyone wants to hate, the guy who bought the AIDS drug company and then jacked up the price by 5,000%. And then of course he got arrested this week for securities fraud. And everyone's like, oh, and it became like a circus. And I'm like, guys, it's a distraction. It was a distraction the first time it came out with him buying the drug and jacking it up by 5,000%. It's now still a distraction and you're still falling for it. What's happening that they're distracting you from? Oh, well then you have the other big one running. All over media from the US side is supposedly the spokeswoman or whatever for the Democratic Party has pushed Bernie Sanders aside because she's Hillary Clinton's woman, and everyone's talking about this fucking Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton and this woman, and she should be fired and she should be sued, and this is this and this. It's like distraction. Yeah, distraction. All you guys are sitting here bitching and moaning about fucking this and Bernie Sanders and whether he's going to get hurt on the debate. Doesn't matter. Your next leader has already been chosen for you. And you're all talking about this. Meanwhile, the latest Patriot Act was just passed in Congress, and Obama, I think, signed off on it yesterday, and it's horrific, and no one's talking about it.
And who's Debbie Wasserman Schultz?
Yeah, this. I think that's the chick from who's supposed to be the spokeswoman for the Democratic Party, and she got caught like hiding away Bernie Sanders. I don't know. I honestly didn't give a shit. It was just like, wow, I can't believe all these people are falling for it again.
What I'm seeing is a concerted effort to have the whole alternative truth movement, whatever you want to call it, cannibalize itself.
Yeah.
There's been, okay, I actually sent this in a message to someone. It's like, that's one way to look at it, is that that's what's going on, is that there's this energy of divide and conquer going on inside the whole alternative scene, and it's cannibalizing itself, and people are turning on one another. And the other way to look at it is what we've been saying for 100 years, which is, oh, hang on, why can't that, why won't that let me do that? There we go.
There you go. That truth stands, and what's fraud can't stand. It doesn't stand.
But what I'm seeing, yeah, we've been saying that anything that's not based in truth and integrity will not stand for long, right? That those, I'm not going to name names, but there are individuals out there, or groups, or whatever, who are going on the attack, or who are I don't know, I guess they think they're exposing, I'm not sure. But what they're doing, and from what I can see, is it's the same template I saw about 12 months ago, where in the process, they're actually exposing themselves and taking themselves out. And it's going to be interesting to see right across the whole alternative media scene who's going to be left standing in even 6 months. And I've actually received lots of messages myself over the last couple of days. Now there have been a lot of, there's been a lot come out all across the board. Everything from forums like Avalon to announcements by other media crews. Dee and I have been the subject of a couple of these things, but they're actually everywhere. Right? Everywhere.
Unbelievable.
And all this infighting, division, cannibalism is what it feels like. And I don't know whether it's some kind of energetic cleanup of the arena. Like, it's a positive thing. Like, part of me feels like it is. Like, it's an energetic cleanup of everything. And yet, it's really ugly as it goes down. Or whether it's people playing into this agenda of, or playing into the manipulation of getting it, just to get it to cannibalize itself and destroy itself. I mean, there are some aspects of the alternative media that are such a joke that it sort of taints everything. You can't believe that crap because this person said this, and we know they're shills. So that just completely undermines the entire subject matter. Or it's getting to the point where you just don't know who to listen to or who to trust, and it's a shame. It's a real shame, because it was, I don't know, 12 months ago, it felt like the alternative media scene was really, really strong. That there was a lot of really good, solid, honest voices. But it all feels like it's just, I don't know, an egg that's just cracking at the moment. And I think that I kind of, maybe that's just the eternal optimist in me, but I do feel that the shake-up will, you know, whatever's left standing will be
really strong.
Strong, yeah. It may not be big, it may not be much, but it should be strong and it should have some, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
Integrity.
This is the whole thing. And what you just said about the last 12 months or 12 months ago, but we've also seen a huge amount of co-opting happen in the last, like on personal levels, on group levels, on in every level. And all that is seemingly, I mean, not all of it, but a lot of it is being exposed. And you know what, it's really, really interesting because I want to talk about, you kind of hit something. It was the conversation you and I had a couple of days ago. And you said things like, it's hard to know what to believe, who to listen to, because, you know, some person who's a real, is a shill is saying this, so therefore you go, whoa, does that mean everyone who's saying this is not to be trusted? So I want to give a little prime example. So if you guys remember back in August, we did the AI symposium, the Untangled Gathering, the AI symposium. And at the time we were really like, it was really vital. We knew that there was like pieces that really had to come out, and we pulled together a really great team, broad spectrum from kind of every aspect. And during the symposium itself, there was a lot of stuff that was said, a lot of stuff that went on that made me go, I'm not really comfortable with that. You don't necessarily jive with a lot of the stuff that came out. And that was the Sunday night. And the Monday morning, I woke up to a message from Lisa saying, I just got messages from such and such and so, and basically it was messages coming down from other groups saying, oh, what a fantastic symposium. It was awesome. What a great job you guys did. It was so good. And because we know that those groups are seriously co-opted, we immediately went, fuck, what have we done? We've done, like, obviously, if these guys have liked what went on during that symposium, we've just pushed something that we shouldn't have pushed somehow, some way, right? And then we watched the fallout, and there's been a lot of fallout since that symposium. And for people on personal levels, on where the whole AI thing has gone, now where it's being pushed by the alternative media, a lot of voices in the alternative media are pushing a certain aspect of it. And
which is the aspect that you and I weren't comfortable with during the symposium.
Which was the aspect that we were just like, this isn't, no. And that now I'm listening to all these people who 6 months ago had never used the word AI ever. And now all of a sudden it's like every other thing that comes up, well, it's the AI. Well, it's the AI. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, seriously, this is a problem. This is a serious problem. So anyways, we're planning on doing another AI symposium where this time I think we're going to try and work through what it was that we actually wanted to get across and expose some of the shit that's going on now, because some of the shit that's going on now is just way over the top. It is pure programming. I'm sorry. Pure programming. Now everyone blame everything on AI. It's all AI. It's not the Illuminati. It's not the cabal.
Man, Tom just said most people can't even spell AI.
Oh, Tom, I wish you weren't wrong. Which is why it's an acronym, right? Um, yeah, everything, whenever I see all the focus of all the alternative media, of all the people who are awake and aware, all the unfuckers, etc., all focusing in on one thing, and all of a sudden it's all, everything is turned to that one thing. I immediately, it's alarm bells. It's like, whoa, seriously, this needs to be really, really looked at.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is very, very interesting, because not only does AI imply that this is a man-made thing, but it also has other implications. And we've been very cleverly programmed by Hollywood to think a certain way when you say the word AI, and to have a certain predisposition to it, to have a certain, you've already defined it in your mind what it is. Therefore, you follow a pattern when everyone starts talking about it. And this is one of the problems, and I think that's one of the main reasons they're using the word AI in everything. Everything they're using it, because they're programming people to think a certain way about it.
What was I going to say? It doesn't, to me, it doesn't imply man-made. It implies something so much more. The idea is that there is this far superior race to us that created this AI. And that there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, the stuff about the nanotech and nanoparticles, you know, that feeds into this as well. You're infested with it. It's in your brain, it's in your blood. You know,
no one can get away
can't
from
get
it.
rid of it. There's nothing you can do about it. Yep.
Yep.
You're all going to be, someone's going to flick a switch one day and you're all just going to be automatons. And
Yep.
to me, that's all absolutely bullshit. Your body and your spirit and your intent is so much more powerful than any of that stuff. And that was kind of the message that Dee and I were wanting to get across on that symposium, and yet it kept getting pulled back to, there's nothing you can do about it. You know, it's this far superior.
So yeah, we can't beat it. It's just there, and there's, yeah, you know, wow. I mean, there's so many aspects. I mean, we are going to have to really dig into that subject soon and really go into it. But there's so many aspects to it. So, for example, I'll give you the one that keeps coming up to my mind, is because I keep going back to the whole Matrix holodeck simulated reality. In which case, if we're looking at a Matrix holodeck simulated reality, well, guess what? Yeah, of course, there is AI going to be running, making sure the stars are in the right places, the moon, the sun comes up at the right time, program the rain here, program this to happen there, etc. But in and of itself, it is also part of that simulated reality. And what goes on outside that reality, it's not part of. Which again comes back to that whole thing of, it may be, Nick's just dropping his weights on the floor, sorry everyone. You know, it's external. It's just an external thing. It's not this all encompassing, all powerful, all knowing. It's not. That's my own gut thing. And if everyone's looking at that, what else is going on behind it?
Well, this comes back to what we were saying last week. It's all just a distraction from ourselves.
Yep.
Who we really are, what we're really capable of, where we're going, what we're becoming. It's all just a distraction from that. And anything that can get you to disempower yourself, to doubt yourself. I mean, I got to say, in the last few years, there's been a lot of things, circumstances, events, people that have made me doubt myself. I used to consider myself a really good judge of character. It was just one of those things that I don't know, it was like I had a gift from the time I was little. I could see straight through people. And I'm sitting in this space right this minute, looking at two potential reasons for what's gone on in the last few years. And there may be more that I just haven't seen yet. But one would be that I just went through some, how can I put it? Either I was manipulated or co-opted myself, and I've lost that ability, or it's part of my job or role or whatever to get up close and personal and give my love and trust and faith and respect and all that to certain individuals and go on a particular journey with them, because it seems like what I do is provide a space. It was actually, I'll use something that I was talking to you about last night. Give people enough rope to hang themselves. But I've got to do that. I've got to get my hands dirty to do that. I've got to get up close and personal to do that. So I'm watching that kind of play out, and I'm wondering whether that's just actually, you know, we've all got certain jobs, roles that we do in our lives. Is that one of mine? Because it's not just happening publicly, it's happening privately as well. Or is it that I've literally somehow lost my ability to genuinely read and sense?
You've just lost the plot, you know, it's what it is.
Completely lost the fucking plot. There's that too, I guess. Yeah.
Remember, let me just remind you, we are in a loony bin, remember? Padded walls, straight jacket, and we're just having a mutual hallucination. I'm just saying.
Well, like I said, if you can try and undo my straitjacket, I'll undo yours.
Awesome.
And we'll just get the fuck out.
We'll just sneak off to that island in Tahiti or somewhere hot.
Isn't Unfucker Island happening somewhere?
Yes, Unfucker Island somewhere. I don't know, the one that got taken far too seriously by certain people who shall remain named.
It's what the problem now is, because I haven't been able to figure that part out. I've ended up doubting myself so often.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm not alone in this. I know I'm not alone.
Should I trust you? I don't know if I'm going to trust you.
I told you the other day, you're stuck with me because I'm not taking.
I know.
People. I'm not having any more friends. You're it.
Apparently, I'm the only one left. I'm just dead. No. So, dude, if you're trying to wait for me to remain sane, we got some serious fucking problems ahead of us.
I like what Violet just said. The more work I'm doing on healing my own shadow, so I don't project it into the world and on others, the more clearer the focus on what's authentic.
Yep.
Yeah, authentic.
Authentic, as in what is, as in what the opposite of what isn't, and fraud and all the rest of it. And that, yeah, comes right back to that, based in what is authentic, what is true, real, not fraud, not illusion, not delusion. Yeah.
So, for those of you in the chat room, how many of you have had experiences in the last few years? Because I know I've had so many messages from people over the last few years who have been shattered by something or shaken by something, and it's shaken their own faith in themselves. Yep. Okay. Shoot, yeah. It's
Yeah, Tom trusted me that one time, and I just threw him to the wolves, and that was it. I crushed him. Totally crushed him. Sorry.
so what's going on with that? I mean, is it shaking us all up so that we do go to no one or nothing but ourselves and go within?
Well, I mean, we keep saying it. I mean, you and I keep saying it all the time, is that no one has the truth. No one has all the pieces.
No.
And I think maybe that's one of our lessons, is that if you go to one person and expect them to give you the answers, you're going to get it kicked out from under you, right? I know that I've been there. And every time I've kind of turned to any one person as being someone I could not necessarily expect to answer all, be the savior or answer all the problems, but anytime I've turned to someone as someone who I perceive may have some of the answers, i.e., you're taking it from them and taking it as your own, that almost every time. Almost, now that I think about it, yeah, pretty much every single time in the last 4 years, anyway. It's just been kicked out from under you because you realize that you just can't go to anyone else for answers.
Oh, okay. While I think of it, because I may forget it, I may get my word.
Yes, it does. Tangent time. On you.
Tangent time. 2 years ago, I guess, but yeah, right at the end of the Opal tour, I was still in the States. We were leading up to the Christmas of 2013, and there was a few of us who, and we talked about it on shows, who felt that something was coming Christmas Day. Now, anybody who's been around that long knows that I personally had a big Christmas Day. But in the lead up to it, it felt like there was going to be some kind of global event. It felt like something earth-shattering was going to happen. Big. Now, it was for me personally. Right. Paradigm shifting, earth-shattering. That was my question. Because exactly you said on what I'm feeling now. And last Christmas, nothing. It didn't feel like anything was coming, and nothing did. I'm starting to get that feeling again. Now I'm only a few days away from Christmas, but I was wondering whether anybody else felt like this Christmas was going to be significant again. Big for some reason, big. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've had an overwhelming feeling that something's going to happen.
Yeah, okay, there's a few. I don't do Christmas, but feel something is imminent.
Yeah, no, I don't do Christmas either, but
it's not.
We're not referring to Christmas the holiday. Yes, we're just using it as a time reference. Call it a time frame reference of this solstice. Oh yeah, it is solstice tonight. I forgot about that. Solstice, Christmas into New Year's. Yeah.
Okay, now when I just brought that subject up, my whole body just went. It's still going. I'm shaking on the inside, big time. Oh, okay. Is that confirmation or what? Reports are out there that Popey has said this could be the last ever Chrissy. Oh, really?
Okay, well, Popey poo. Yes, Popey poo. Yeah, no, I've had this overwhelming feeling that something's happening. Something is going to happen, some change, I can't tell you what level. I can't say it's going to be a major false flag event that's going to happen, although I do expect one in the next couple of days. Just saying to everyone, because they'll need to keep distracting everyone. Or maybe they're hoping that Christmas will distract everyone, and I don't know.
Well, I know that Christmas 2 years ago, a lot of people did have a very strange day, but it was a very personal experience. It's not like something happened globally that affected a lot
Yeah.
of people. This was a very personal experience for a lot of people, and it varied. Some people like me lost time. I think Blue pretty much had a near-death experience with her bee sting that took her into an altered state.
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten about that.
That was at the same time.
Yeah.
There was, I don't know, and I don't know whether we're looking at something similar, you know, where a lot of people are going to have an individual experience, personal experience.
Well, I know that my Christmas is going to be a hell of a lot, quieter this year than it was last year, because last year was the insanity of everyone in Ristinga and all the fucking bullshit that was going on at that exact same time, on top of having everyone over for Christmas dinner and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. Yeah, time, what is that? Yeah, I know, Christine. I lost several hours again today. I'm not sure where they went to.
Susan just said her mother just called during the show now and invited her and her husband out tomorrow for the last Christmas.
What?
Yeah, she specifically said
Okay.
the last Christmas. Now, yeah, is it a full moon?
Last Christmas?
There's something happening with the moon on Christmas Day. And it hasn't happened since the 70s. It hasn't happened since the year Star Wars came out. The first Star Wars came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is a little coinkydink. 1970, whatever it was, is the last time whatever happens with the moon this Christmas happened.
It's a full moon on Christmas, yeah.
And we've just had Star Wars released again.
And we just had Star Wars released again. Oh, and can I go off on a little tangent? I do. And what is even better, and I'm sorry, tangent time, because, I get to have one too, is the day that the new Star Wars movie was released. I don't know if you saw this, Lisa. It was that big press conference at the White House, and the press secretary giving the speech with 2 stormtroopers standing behind him. And I was like, there you go, everyone, have some transparency. He did not have Jedi Knights standing behind him. He had stormtroopers who are the mercenaries of the evil empire who are run by the Sith Lords. There you go. In one photo. The American government explained to you.
Yes, I did say that.
I'm sorry, I pissed my pants when I saw that. I was like, wow, can you just stage it any better? Like, you couldn't have someone dressed like a Jedi Knight or something? Even pretend? Yeah.
Christine, if you'd like to unmute yourself, I'd love you to come out and tell us why this will be the last Christmas.
Okay, you mean, I'm sorry, why did I say that?
Yeah.
Because what I've been doing for the past months, and yes, ever since August, that symposium changed my life radically. I am a deep empath and intuitive, and I work with groups, and I've been watching and tracking energy. So when we speak, we are actually dispelling or spelling. We're either part of the spell or we're dispelling the spell. So when I speak, I find something that comes up from my intuition, it comes up from my truth body. So when the people in the chat started saying the last Christmas, I realized that that's been going through my mind also, and I speak it. So I can't answer it in any information from the outside sort of way, Lisa, only from the inner side, that it resonates through me, that is the plan. And I guess if I were to go a little more analytical, there's a lot of stuff out there, the Star Wars movie, the Pope, there's other things, the false flag events that are being predicted for December 24th, 25th. So that's obviously in the consciousness field.
So
and
if it's the last Christmas, does that mean because what, Christ comes back? Does it mean that the
well,
faith is decimated?
We have 2 possibilities in the world of duality. Which way are we going to go? So when I think of, a friend of mine changed it from Christmas to Christ in Mass. So for me, the becoming is each individual spirit that we are as sovereign divine essence souls. We're in our own awakening and receiving that process of that. And the more of us that become the Christed energy. I don't like these words because they're so contaminated, so just bear with my using them. Okay, we could say it is the divine radiant light that we each are. It's like a completion process, and that's why sovereignty to me is key. Soul sovereignty, shadow work, the deep dive, the core energies going inside is where the changes are being made. We're all powerhouses. Us talking right now is changing things. And thank you for inviting me. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, we like to have you here, Christine.
Oh, good. Good.
So I'm sorry, because I just typed it into the chat room, and I was just as we started talking, I was like, last Christmas, what did we talk about? The big conversation you and I and Jeff had last week about the ETs coming, the staging of an alien invasion, et cetera, and it's a real push. So, I mean, I've said for fucking years that they're going to stage the second coming of Christ, and it's going to involve the ETs. It's going to involve spaceships and all the rest of it. So if they stage the second coming of Christ, which is pretty much almost, to me, it's a given that they're going to try it. If Christ has come again, you don't have to celebrate Christmas anymore, do you? I don't know. Is the Pope saying that's the end of the last Christmas because they're, kind of in the way preparing everyone to coming next?
There's no need for a Pope either, because he's supposed to be the voice of Christ, right? Or
Yeah.
the emissary of Christ on earth.
No need for a Pope. He would be, which plays into the whole prophecy about the last popes, right? The last Pope there will be a final Pope. There's a lot of people who said that this guy will be the last Pope. Well, same thing. If Christ comes back, then you don't need a mouthpiece anymore.
He'll be the false prophet, the false mouthpiece. And so that's the whole diversionary tactic, because enough people are waking up. They're in their own becoming process right now. All of us are. And Lisa, just what you were saying earlier about not being sure of yourself. It's because it's all these identities, these false identities we've had are being really stripped away. So we get to be very vulnerable at a certain state. But as this awakening process is coming through these energies, they have to make this move. And what they want to do is divert the mass consciousness that there's a savior out there. The savior's never been out there. Never, ever. And so, yeah, I see that, Danny, with you saying that this false invasion, Christ holocaust, and beware, there's a chance they'll do it through the divine feminine, okay? It could be very well be that they'll bring in a female figure.
That's why they're pushing the divine feminine. The whole divine feminine, massive swing of the pendulum. We're going to go right over to here. Is all part and parcel of that kind of new age rhetoric. And it goes back, I keep saying, no, guys, we want balance. Balance is what we want. We don't, if we've been on the pendulum swing over here, then we don't want to go over here. We want to find the balance point. Pardon me, I'm just going to make the cross, apparently, over and over. I take it back.
The thing
that
that really got me about that conversation you and I and Jeff had, and it's just been brought up in the chat room too, was we sort of, and I think we even talked about it on the show. We did. We had this sort of scenario of the way that any extraterrestrial species that is out there is being portrayed, which is they're only going to come here to destroy us.
Yeah.
And get us to, in case they know that there's something benevolent coming, so that we will collectively reject them.
No.
Right?
Yeah. We don't consent.
We
No.
don't consent. And then I watched Childhood's End. And yeah, well, okay. So if I don't want to spoil it for everybody if you haven't seen it, so I'm just going to tell you to watch it. Go watch it. It is doable. You can download it. There are torrents. You haven't got to go and watch it on Sci-Fi Channel. So yeah, I won't spoil it for you.
But there's several shows. Like, for example, the one that was just released, I think in August or September, called Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
where he's a good-looking guy and he's just bored of hell and he doesn't want to play that role anymore. So he comes up to Hollywood and he's got a bar and he's funny and he's charismatic and hey, he's going to work with this cop and he's going to help him solve crimes because, you know. So again, you have a twisting. This whole again the twisting, and it plays into that whole childhood tale as well. Because I got the synopsis from Jeff told me about that. So yeah, what's good is evil. Well, I've talked about it with the Disney movies. How many movies have come out in the last 5 years that take a character that is 100% representative of evil and then tried to turn it around and be, I'm not evil, I'm just misunderstood. The Maleficent movie, even if you look at the movie Hotel Transylvania, which I don't think that wasn't Disney, but again, another one where it's all the monsters is Frankenstein and Dracula, and they're the good guys in the movie, and all the humans are the bad guys.
Yeah, but when you look at these bad guys, the demons,
Yeah.
Satan, I mean, I'm not convinced at this point that they're not just fabricated stories
Oh,
from the
absolutely.
Bible. So,
Absolutely. But it's the concept. Just look at the concept. Never mind that it's a demon, it's a devil, it's a vampire, but there is
of what is bad is good.
of what is bad is actually good. And you just don't understand it. That's the problem. You know, this is the whole thing. It can all be explained. So you have tons of vampire movies that now portray vampires as being good guys. And the humans always turn out to be bad. I mean, the True Blood series, you've got the brand new Dracula movie that just came out last year, which is the story of Vlad the Impaler, who the very first Dracula and how he became this. But he wasn't bad. No, he was a good guy. He was just trying to save his people. So he made the ultimate sacrifice, and you should feel sorry for him. And it's being pushed huge right now. No, that's what I said. Yeah. Yep. Hotel Transylvania. There's just tons of them.
It's an overwhelming meme coming out of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Overwhelming. Which we've talked about before. But again,
Okay, so let's play on that and say, so what are they going to do? Are they going to have like the second coming of Christ, but it'll turn out that it's like a demon, but then he'll just explain to him, no, I'm just misunderstood. Look, I'm going to give you everything you want. Here, have money, have green planet, all these things. I'm just misunderstood. Yeah, Christ came from Syria. There you go. There's the whole setup right there.
Okay, there's a few other things I need to bring up, but I'm going to have to let you run with it for a minute because I just need to disappear for 1 minute.
Okay. What am I going to run with? You didn't even give me a chance to come up with something to run with. Damn her when she does that.
Talk to Christine.
Christine, hi. You get to talk to me because
I muted my mic. I was going to run away too. I know. I'll stay.
everyone.
I will.
I do find the Hollywood stuff right now to be
I
really.
know. Well, you know what? I'm listening to everything, and my tendency now is to take what I'm hearing here, and then just really ponder it, because we actually can read the field. But
Yeah.
and the term I wrote in the chat was navigate it, because in reality, it's so mixed up and twisted and double backed right now. And when I see it, I see the overlays are moving. They're like shimmer, the glimmer, or the spells that they've cast are one on top of another. So it's quite a task to navigate it. And the heart energy combined with the mind, I'm not like one of those just go with the heart people. I believe the mind, the clarity of mind and lucidity is a real quality that we also need to engage.
Oh yeah.
So, so that's the best I'm being able to do right now is navigate. And it's a penetration of it also.
You know what? I mean, this is the whole thing of why I always talk about. We kind of have to really work to stay in a place of neutrality. Because the moment you believe something,
Right.
it's like you close down other options. And to me, it's just overwhelmingly important that people are just trying to try and stay into that place of take it all in. Like you say, as the information comes in, you look at it and you just store it off to the side and be open to what new changes can come and what new pieces of information come in and what new pieces of the puzzle people bring forward. I mean, because we've had some fantastic shows here where people have had incredible insights that have made me go, wow, I had never thought of that. That is seriously something to look at. Yeah, you gotta wait for the direction to emerge. Yeah, I agree. And you can only follow the flow, right?
Exactly. So, and the thing that's really beautiful, and I think this is going to help eventually with all this come down of the house of cards of the alternative media community, because from what I'm understanding now, this was engaged from the beginning. The operatives were put in, just like they co-opted the music industry, just like they co-opted the hippie movement. The truth movement was co-opted from the beginning. So the operatives are now being shown to us. So it's only we're seeing now what was already there. And what I believe will help us is really understanding each of us as an individuated flow and not going at each other's throats or trying to prove we're right or wrong. So when we start to flow together and when things sort of coalesce, then we start to get a bigger movement, but not in a big movement of an overshadowing person or personality or name that is always going to be used to co-opt us.
Yeah.
So,
No,
yeah.
I agree. I agree. And that's, well, I mean, that's the reason why Lisa and I haven't publicly gotten involved in the smear campaigns and all the rest of it, is because we're not going to play that game. Just let it be seen for what it is. And
Right.
that's all I can do, is just stand back and go, I know who I am. I know who Lisa is.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. In the end run, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I can't tell anyone else what to believe, and I can't tell anyone else what is or what isn't. I'm just going to stand in the place of I know who I am and I know who she is, because I'm stuck with her apparently.
That's not a bad thing, Danny. After talking to you, it's beautiful to watch. It's actually because of the two of you being together that they haven't been able to get you apart, that the field around you is so strong. And I've been going through something very similar, as you know. So it's nice when you get to that place of really trust, trust. And just, there are people I have been fortunate to trust. And I'm also very, what's the right word? Not wary, but I take a lot of discernment into factor when new people come into my field now.
Yep.
And I do a lot of watching and listening before I interact or get anything out. So, yeah.
Well, it is. Vicky just said discernment is key. Yeah, it is key. And my other thing is kind of along what Lisa said earlier, is if you find yourself in a place, like we have so many times, where you open up to someone, or you whatever you want to call it, and things go south, if you will, then you know what? I don't want to use that platitude of, oh, it was just meant to be, because that's not what I mean. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And sometimes I think there's reasons why we, like Lisa said, you get drawn to certain people, and it is what it is. And you move on.
1 minute.
Tell Fifi she should be at school. Oh no, it's holiday time, isn't it?
Holiday time, darling.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Fifi, you can stay home.
Hang on, I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I know, because it's hard. I mean, I know for myself that every time someone new appears in front of me, the conversations I've had multiple times of like, oh, wow, do I do I trust this time? Do I look at this and go, oh, isn't it just convenient that you would show up at this moment? Because I mean, there is. I mean, Lisa and I have watched that pattern play out too. It's like every time there's a so-called chapter through this, certain people just reappear and they just go bing, and you go, oh no, isn't that just perfect timing? This is just stopped. This has just been closed, and now bing. Yeah, it's very much a template. But same thing. You can't live in that place. You can't live in that place of pessimism and holding back from people either. Because I've met some incredible people, right? And if you're always holding back, then you never get a chance to meet those people.
You know, I didn't catch obviously what you were just saying, but I thought I'd let you know that I've had quite a few messages over the last few weeks of people saying pretty much the same thing, which is that the conversations we have, the people that we attract, like the people in this studio audience, the people who participate in those conversations and their insights and their sharings, and the things that we question, because we're questioning everything, are the very things that they don't want discussed, and which is why we become or have been targets of late, is because we are having the conversations, and we've created this arena, this platform, this little venue here for some pretty incredible people.
Yeah.
Their insights and their experiences and question along with us, and that's why we're targets. But it's not through lack of trying. People have tried to put a wedge between you and I many times from many different angles.
Oh God, I can't even, I've lost count of how many times that's been played on us. To the point now it's like, oh Lord, here it goes again. Here it goes again.
Oh, there it goes. And there it goes.
Yeah.
There you go. So, I don't know. I think all of those of you listening, those of you who participate, those of you who get in the chat room and ask questions and call in and comment on Facebook or on the YouTubes or wherever you do it, all of you who are participating.
You all fucking rock.
You all rock, and yeah, exactly. And you're all playing a part in the conversations that certain powers that be or were or want to be don't want you having.
Yeah.
And to you're onto something. Keep it up.
Keep it up, everyone. Absolutely.
Now, okay, something else, another tangent.
On you go.
Putin.
Oh, do we really have to go there?
No, I've got a question for you. I don't know what he said. I'm ignoring it.
He just said that he loves it when you go off on a tangent. Oh, okay. You're very funny. Okay, he was making a math joke. Apparently, I missed it because we all know I'm not a mathematician. He just said cosine. I love it when you go off with a tangent.
Things. Okay, well, you and I've talked a fair bit about him. He's come to the conversation quite a bit. And what role he may or may not be playing right now. Is he actually a resistant force? Is he really screwing with the cabal, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call him? Is he just another player who's playing his part? But I was reminded the other day, I'm pretty sure it was during Obama's first term. There were quite a few incidences towards the end of his first term where Obama was caught at the end of an interview or at the end of some kind of meeting with his microphone still on. Remember?
I do.
There was one in particular where he was sitting down with the Russian, he wasn't Putin, but it was a Russian diplomat of some sort.
Lavrov or one of those. Yeah.
And he just said, and he said something along the lines, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember, and I didn't bother looking at the clip again, of just wait until I win my second term, and then we'll blah, blah, blah. Now, the thing is, you never know whether these things are staged so that just to get the world chattering and distracted about what's really going on, or is it staged to be a covert message to a particular individual, group, nation, something? Is it Obama knowingly sending a message, and to who? Or was it a genuine fuck up? Did he genuinely forget that his microphone was on?
Did someone genuinely forget to turn it off?
Yeah, or did someone, a technician who you know, in the background, just not turn it off on him, so he didn't know? All of these, you know, scenarios are possible. If he was doing it, if he was speaking not knowing that he was being heard, then it does suggest that Russia is just as much in this bullshit up to their eyeballs as every other nation. And they're simply just characters playing out their roles. But if he did know, what does that mean? It's, I mean, on the surface, everything that Putin was doing seems to be just a big, you know,
yeah.
To.
But the U.S. has kowtowed to them every time.
So what does that mean?
The latest shit coming out as well. You can look at it on multiple levels, right? You can look at it on literally, I mean, the Transconspicuous News report that hasn't come out yet. I talked about the fact that basically all the latest gadgets coming out of the U.S. are a complete fiasco out of the U.S. military. So the F-35 is a piece of shit that's cost them billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. Their latest warship took its maiden voyage and cacked 20 miles out at sea and had to be towed back to harbor. And the new GPS system by Raytheon is a complete piece of crap that even the Pentagon is saying it's a complete freaking piece of crap and it doesn't work. So, and Russia has shown over and over again, very fancifully, just how powerful they are militarily. So is that what it is? Is it a matter of behind the scenes? There's like literally like, yeah, you got your dead rights. You got no hope of getting out of this. So just roll over, show us your belly, and we're going to do our thing.
But when you look at, okay, so let's go back to prophecy for a second. You know, Edgar Casey had a lot to say about Russia, and that it would almost be some kind of saving grace, saving force. And yet, when you look at the doom and gloom Christian Armageddon, biblical prophecy stuff, America goes down. America is destroyed. America goes through her judgment. So is Russia, just like you said, America kowtows to them every time. Is Russia being set up to be the cause? Because it seems like they want to destroy America in order to play out their template of Armageddon, right? That's an integral piece in that. So is Russia just being set up as the means to do that?
Well, when I've talked about, for example, the whole new global financial system, the RV and all this shit, one thing I said when I wrote the original template articles back last August 2014, the changing of the dynasty. And China has been doing this for freaking thousands of years. They are seriously professionals at changing the dynasty. And what we're seeing is just a repeat of the template, okay? The American dynasty's over. Now you have to become extremely corrupt and dictatorship. It's horrible. And then you have a perceived, new world power step in, i.e. whether Russia or China or both of them together somehow. And it's perceived as being, oh, a new dynasty. So like I said, everyone went off about the AIIB Bank and about the new BRICS Bank and all this stuff. And I was like, guys, they're being run by the same people. The exact same people who are running the BIS and the IMF are running the new AIIB and the new BRICS Bank. It is, and I was told 2.5 years ago by one of my insiders who said, it's the exact same thing. It's just a new picture. It's a new cover. It's a new party dress on the girl. So you look at it directly from that. This is just the changing of the dynasty from that very 3D perspective, right? If you will, like politically, economically, etc. But there's one thing, and I've talked about this a couple of times. The one thing, when we talk about everything becoming transparent, right? So we've just talked about it in the alternative media. Okay, in the mainstream media, how much more transparent can they be? They get caught out in lie after lie after lie. It is all over the place. The amount of bullshit, the fact that even the public doesn't trust the mainstream media anymore. In politics, everything has become, especially in this last year, but the last 4 or 5 years anyway, everything has become extremely transparent. So the one thing, I mean, I had this conversation with Heather 2 weeks ago, and she said, and I agree with her 100% on this, Obama has not done anything that any other president has not done. The difference is he's done it publicly. Where Bush and Reagan and all these guys, Nixon, etc., where they did it all very, very hidden in the background where you would never see it. Obama has done the exact same shit, but he's done it very publicly, using executive orders, etc. He has left the perfect paper trail. If you want to talk about transparency, he has left the ultimate perfect paper trail. So if we want to look at it from a more, I don't know if I want to use the word spiritual because that really sucks for me these days. If you want to look from it from a non-3D perspective, if you will, it's being made very, very clear. And the act that's coming out right now between Putin and Obama, the act that they're playing right now makes everything incredibly transparent. So we can look at it that way too, and also say, like, if everything is showing itself right now, oh my God, is everything ever showing itself? Like, you can't get any more transparent than what we're seeing right now. Now, I'm gonna talk, I actually mentioned this a little bit last week when we were talking about ships. Oh, and by the way, okay, here we go. We're gonna go through Flash again. Did we talk about this on last week's show about ships and people seeing ships and having dreams about ships?
Yes, and you even mentioned the other D.
Oh, did I? Oh, that's
Yeah, that was that conversation.
Oh, that's okay. See, it's one, I never remember what's a show and what's just a conversation. Okay, so first of all, this week, I had another ship dream where I remember absolutely nothing about the dream whatsoever, except looking up and seeing ships. And I don't mean cloud ships, I mean frickin' ships in the sky. I could draw you a picture, crystal clear. They were kind of a yellowish color, golden yellowish color. They were kind of triangular shaped, but they very, well, if you can imagine the lower half of the triangle, how my fingers are, very rounded like that, with like a bubble dome at the front that was darker. There were 3 bigger ones and about 25 or 30 smaller ones all around it. And I just remember, that's all I remember of the dream, is just looking up and seeing them and going, oh. And there was no panic, there was no negativity, there was no nothing. It was just an observation of like, oh, look, there they are. Oh, isn't that funny? I haven't had a ship dream in ages.
Actually, you've just pinged me with something. Does anybody in the chat room still follow at all Yellow Rose for Texas and keep up on that information? Is there anybody in there? Christine, a little.
I just want to continue this because I will get sidetracked and completely forget. Last week when I talked about it, and I said that I'd had one very, very specific dream about ships that is so still, even it was like 3-4 years ago, it's so crystal clear still to this moment that I can tell you what I could smell in the dream. That's how clear it is. And after seeing all the ships go by, because basically we're in like a little, I think I was saying it, we're in like a little resort town. Everyone's out on cafes and walking around, and we see all this huge line of ships coming through the sky. And the group I'm with are all like, finally, I can't believe they're fucking here. What fucking took you so long? And no one else was paying any attention whatsoever. And I went back to, I left everyone outside, and by myself, I went back to the kind of restaurant that we'd all been in, which was on the second floor of the building. I think I can tell you exactly how it was laid out. It was done with couches and chairs. And I walked out, and I was looking off the balcony, looking up at the ships again. And I turned around and I walked in, and on the table, there was a bright, shocking pink cell phone. Like, so definitely not mine. I knew, it was like, I didn't even know whose it was. And I picked up the phone and I pressed one button. And I put the phone to my ear, and on the other end of the line, it was Obama.
Oh, you got a hotline
And
to Obama.
he was having a complete fucking meltdown. Like, complete fucking emotional meltdown. He was losing the plot. He was like, I don't know what to do. I just don't even know what to do anymore. What the fuck am I supposed to do? And I literally just said to him, dude, it's all, oh, look, my internet connection just went unstable.
Yeah, your video's frozen, but I can
Okay,
still,
that's fucking funny.
I can still hear you. Keep talking, quick, get it out. Oh, no, now I can't. Oh, how's that for timing? Oh, that's just too funny. You guys all there still? Cliffhanger. I tell you. Oh my goodness. Dee,
Went
there?
off.
Yeah, lost her.
Can I ask you real quick, Lisa, before she comes back? The yellow rose for Texas, what do you know about it? Her.
Well, back in 2014, sometime last year in Morocco, she released the video. Oh, Jeff will remember the name of it. The Lies NASA Told, actually, was what I think it was what it was called. And there was some really, really interesting bits in it.
Yeah.
And I followed it for a little bit and then sort of lost interest. But with the sort of flat earth discussions and everything that's being discussed within that umbrella topic, the whole concept of this just being a bloody hologram or a holodeck or, you know,
Right.
It's just made me sort of go back and question some of the things that she had to say and the perspective. I don't see much get put out. I do know there is a group that's dedicated on Facebook to studying her stuff, and I think they all share visions and dreams and observations and whatever. There was a period there where it looked like they were all suicidal. There seemed to be some discussion in that group where everybody was saying goodbye to each other, and I thought, Jesus, are they going to just do some sort of mass suicide thing to get out of here? It was really weird. But do you know much about them or about that work?
No, no, I don't. It's just that it's one of those things that's coming to me really strongly. And I thought I would get people that are in her group, Richard Hatton, the Mad Hatter, or a couple on and have a discussion about it, because they actually have their own language. So if you're not ongoing with them, it's really, I mean, when they talk about Ed and Eve and, you know, all of that. So it's a real shift. And I'm curious about it. And that you brought it up makes me even more curious about it.
Well, way back then, I tried to reach out to her for an interview, but she was not responding to anything, and her health was really bad at the time. But I would actually love to have a discussion with some people who actually know what she's talking about if she's not available to talk herself. So if you do pull something like that off, I'd love to be involved.
I'll let you know. It was on my queue today to contact them So it just is not a coincidence that it came up. I won't say any more because I really don't know enough.
Okay, because you're right, they do have their own language, and they may well be saying the same thing as others, just in their own language, so we're not getting it.
Right.
That's something I'd be up for, because I want to understand it a little bit more.
I'm back.
Yeah, you need to finish that. Shit, that was funny. That was like,
And the fact
that
that
was
I've
better
had
than JR.
perfect internet until I started talking about Obama.
That was better
And
than who shot JR cliffhanger, that one. That was,
it,
and I told Obama.
and I told Obama, no, basically, and all I said to him was like, dude, you're doing absolutely fine. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Just hang on. Just hang in there and know that you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you're doing it absolutely fine. And he was kind of like, yeah, okay, you're right. No, you're right. And he kind of pulled himself together. I was like, okay. And I hung up, I put the phone back down, and I went back outside and joined everyone to look at the ships in the sky. But it was a crystal clear moment for me. And I mean, at that point, when I had that dream, I was working with Sue and Sue Rhodes, and I was working with Drake, believe it or not, and Neil Keenan. Yeah, I know. Those words didn't come out of my mouth. On the Re-Declaration of Independence. And I was working heavily with the Republic crews, who were mostly Republicans, who absolutely hated Obama. Like, he is the Antichrist, he is everything. And so I was, well, these guys know more about American politics than me being the Canadian chick, so okay, they must be right. And I had that dream, and it was just like, I woke up from that dream and went, whoa, what the fuck? And I've had actually several, back in 2012, 2013, I had several dreams where he was in them. And one of them was in one of our other forums, and I was standing in front of him. He was at a speech outside, and I knew that I was invisible to the crowd. No one could see me, but I was in like the full, 15, 18 foot tall form, and I was standing in front of him, and I knew I was there to protect him. And that's all I knew. And he was giving a huge, really important speech. Like, it was like the speech he was giving was like the ultimate speech. Like, this is the disclosure speech. This is the, not just disclosure, i.e. like ET disclosure, but the ultimate disclosure speech. And I was stood there in front of him as a barrier to make sure that nothing could happen. And that was out back to 2013, late 2012, early 2013.
I don't think I've ever had a dream. One. Actually, that's not true. I think I did. That was years ago, and I can't remember what it was about.
And which Nobel? The Nobel Prize. When did he get the Nobel Prize? I don't know. I think it was after. Yeah. No, it was after that, because all those dream sequences happened in 2012, early 2013.
Maurice, I think it's Maurice, said that he knows quite a bit about Yellow Rose from Texas. If you want to come out and share and explain a couple of things, especially for those people who maybe then going to go and have a look or revisit some of that information, that would be great. Or anything that would correlate with the whole holographic. Oh, I heard a giggle. Is that you?
I'm here.
Ah, lovely. Welcome.
No, actually, Lisa, I was pointing to somebody else, one of the Earth Soul Group admins, Narelle Summerell, who lives in Australia also, by the way.
Oh, okay.
She's unavailable right now, due to Christmas and all of that stuff, but she lives up the road. I don't know exactly where you are nowadays, but she's up around Brisbane somewhere.
Okay.
But anyway, she can be contacted through, well, if nothing else, Lily knows how to get a hold of her. And I know you know how to get a hold of Lily, so. Anyway, I don't have any inside knowledge whatsoever, but I know Narelle does. And she studied it massively.
So if we were to get a group of people together to have a chat about this, Narelle would be a great one to have
yeah,
on.
she'd be a good one to have around. Yeah, she's a good soul, let me tell you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So I'm just going to jump back in and finish because there was a point to me telling the story.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And that is the fact of doing what I do, the news, you get caught up in it. And I get caught, I can fully admit, I get caught up in the news all the time and start relooking at things, new ways to perceive things, who's doing this, what does it really mean, et cetera, from that very kind of political, geopolitical, financial level. And then every so often I have to stand back and I have to look at that specific piece. And the fact of transparency being made everywhere. And the fact of how much transparency is coming out right now. And we said it kind of all along, it's like people have got roles to play. And so when I come back and I look at people, for example, Putin and Obama or President Xi, you look at them and you say, okay, well, what role are they playing? And if we have our roles, do they have their roles? Are they being guided on their own journey, just like we're being guided on our own journey, doing what we do? And they know that they've got things that they've got to do, and it's part of their role. And like I said, I look at certain things. Putin and Obama have made so much fucking shit transparent, completely transparent. It cannot be ignored anymore.
But unless they're not human at all, then
well, I mean, there's
they
that
have to
too.
be going. They have to be going through this internal awakening process, just like everybody is. The shake-up.
Yeah.
They may have. They've got roles on many levels. They'd have roles, puppets for an administration. They've got where they're just told what to do. But then there's that bigger role, the bigger part of them is playing, that is either screaming at them as well to wake the hell up and play a bigger role. And that's the role that a lot of us aren't conscious of that we're doing.
Yeah.
And then there's, are they backdrop people who are just puppets, programmed and so plugged in? Again, more questions.
Okay, well, how about this? If we talk, I'm going to go back to this again, holographic, giant holodeck, and we've talked about bots and those interactive bots that have been put there just to interact. And I mean, because I've actually had that kind of feeling too, but things like certain, almost all of the politicians actually are just these interactive bots that are part of the program, which is why some of the shit that they're doing right now is so completely fucking outrageous. If everything's being made transparent, whether you want to call it, use a coin term, divine providence, or it's because the Matrix is literally fucking breaking down, literally, with all the other shit that we see on the physical, like the moon not being where it's supposed to be, like the sun not being where it's supposed to be, all this type of shit, then the characters that are being played are also breaking down, but it's all making everything very transparent.
We've got, Marilyn's got her hand up, so I'm going to unmute you, Marilyn.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I just had to pull over the side of the road. I was driving, and of course I got disconnected right when you said something. And here's the deal. This is actually what I study. I've been studying the occult for years and years. And, you know, now from an outsider perspective, but I mean, believe me, I've had my share. And one of the things that I do is study how what our enemy, if you want to call it that, works. And just the other night, I saw a YouTube video, and I'll have to go back through my history and see which one it was, because they all blur after a while. There was something in there from a Jewish book called the Mishrach, I believe it is. And so I don't know if you know, I do buy into the flat earth thing. I actually have really, it took me so long to admit this that I feel like, you know, I might as well have a gun to my head because I really didn't want to believe this. I didn't want to believe it. I mean, come on. Do you really think I want to look like an idiot to everybody? Really? But, you know, that is obviously what the game is here. You know, you hide it under the ugliest thing, like the piece of shit. So you have to look like a piece of shit when you go get it. So anyway, let's just suppose I'm right. Okay, let's just take this as a hypothesis because this was my thinking. Let's suppose that, let's just say for the sake of visuals, it's a snow globe. And the firmament is the glass over which is probably the Van Allen radiation belt is what I'm thinking. Okay, so in the book, in Mishrak, it states that the demons were sent down by God because, you know, the Luciferian thing is Lucifer said, I can get people to worship me. You're not that great. and God said, okay, give it a shot, you know, get the hell out of here. And Lucifer was like the most creative, the most beautiful angel of all of them. So, and he's supposedly stunning, like we would just go like, oh my gosh, you know, Justin Trudeau. So probably better. So if that was the case, then he took a third of the angels with him, and they were, according to Genesis, they were the Nephilim, and they mated with humans, and the humans they mated with, according to what the Jewish tradition said, or the Jewish historians said, were Nordic in looks. Like the original Adam and Eve is like, it's weird because we all think it's like Mediterranean. I don't know. So this is what the story is. And they mated, and then the people started turning evil. And so God wiped them out with the flood and put the barrier between us so that in order for them to interact with us, they have a screen. This is really out there. I know this. Listen, I've been called crazy so many times. It's not even funny. So there's a barrier between us, which they can't really see us that well as long as we have the face of God in front of us. But when we do what the Bible calls sin, or when we miss the mark, when we don't serve our best interests, you know, and other people's interests, is probably the way I look at it, then that veil drops enough that they can actually interact with us. If they can't interact with us, that I believe is what they did, was create a holographic replica of us and everybody in the world, and they're interacting on that level telepathically through that holographic image, and that's how they're affecting us. But as long as we've got the shield up and we stay focused, and I know that sounds very legalistic, I get it, believe me, I get it. It's just what it is. That's what I read. So I thought I would throw that in.
No, that's kind of interesting.
It's a weird story.
No, because this is the whole thing. There's those little nuggets sometimes. Sometimes they're little nuggets, and you read something like that, you go, okay. Like
How does it fit in? Yeah.
The ancient Jewish people did not know about holograms.
No.
But you know, you get kind of descriptions, or, you know, and I don't know, there's something interesting in that.
I'm going to pursue it more. I'll let you know when I find out. I think I might look for that actual Jewish book and see what they're saying. The Mishrak.
Lisa,
Thanks.
Okay, sorry.
I'm muting myself now.
I was talking quite. No, don't mute yourself yet.
Okay.
Do you see it as an overlay? Is that what you?
No, it's not our overlay. It's their overlay.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh yeah.
So let's say, for the sake of visual,
Yeah, I don't
there is
think
an organic.
they have. And so here's the deal. I think that the portal, I think they blasted holes in the firmament. That may be where we have so much radiation coming in from whatever that plant. Well, no, that's not true because the sun's in the firmament. So, but it's possible that that's what they're doing with their black magic, is trying to create portals to suck them in. And I really think a few of them have made it, and they may be walking around the White House. I know of actresses that have completely manifested, like turned into a reptilian right in front of us. So I'm not naming names. So they're
go
there.
on. Oh, go on.
I know.
So hang on.
Um,
I'm just trying to get my head around a visual here for a second. 'Cause if I don't do that,
Okay. The snow globe helps.
the snow globe being, okay, so let's say the snow globe is in fact the organic earth, like what
Yes.
is. And yet
Yes, that was the creation.
that was the
And
creation.
actually there is a lower earth where the demonic realm is supposedly part of that.
Mhm.
But what's above us, because we don't go below, what's above us, the firmament is the glass dome kind of thing, and the stars and are in that, and they rotate around us,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then
which makes sense if you take a photograph of those
holographic
spirally
overlay.
things. I'm sorry?
There's a holographic overlay over it all.
Over the whole outside of it, and maybe from below too. Maybe it is from below. It's possible that's where it is.
Well, it would
And
make,
that's why, it sounds kind of funny, like Hades is below us, but there is something to that.
well, the whole thing is this. I mean, if you talk about a holographic overlay, so, and it's really, really humorous because today we were driving back from Tetuan, which is kind of a little bit inland towards the mountains, and the clouds were so fucking weird today. I literally was like, what the hell is going on? And we were all seeing it. We have the moon is just doing weird fucking shit all over the place, and it looks like a hologram. They've got a sun, and we've got two suns, and sometimes three suns. And
I have a theory on that, two sons.
well, if you think about a holographic overlay, even like what we're seeing as
No. What I'm saying is I don't think we are the holograms. I don't think that's our reality at all. I think we're right here on the earth with our feet firmly planted on the ground.
But it's the holographic
I think this is
overlay
going
that's
on
all
around
broken
us or below us.
down. Yeah. And it's the hologram, the overlay that's breaking down. And all of
Right.
those visions and everything that dreams and visions that people have been seeing for years about this wall coming down is this overlay. This
Maybe.
called the veil, what's called
yeah. So
No, I don't think. I think the veil's going to be a really big deal, bigger than Project
Yeah, I think it's the
Bloombeam could
overlay.
ever imagine.
you don't think it's the same thing?
Huh?
You don't think the veil and the overlay, this holographic overlay, may be the same thing?
No. I think we're really separated from the Creator, and I think that's why we struggle so hard figuring out who He is. It's our separation from God. I mean, if you look at the Book of Psalms, I was thinking about this today. The Book of Psalms, they're crying out for God. Where are you? I really need you. It's not like anyone ever walked around going, oh yeah, I know who God is. It's like, really? It's all our life is getting back home to be with the Father or the whatever. If that bothers you, just call it God. But that's where we belong, and we're on this plane. I really believe we're on this plane. I don't think it maybe originally shouldn't have been this way, but I think we're here being tested by God to see whether or not we really will hold up to our faith. And that is what the Bible does say. I mean, really, are you going to believe the Luciferian lie, which is we are all gods, which was the original lie in the Garden of Eden? If you eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you will become like God. That's what he said, and that's what stumbled Eve, supposedly. So that's what the New Agers say. We are all gods. We are all source. I'm no creator. Are you kidding me? If I was a creator, I would create myself a way out of this fucking place. So I don't give myself that kind of authority. And I don't think anybody should. I think we are who we are. Yes, we've got our DNA is fucked up and our frequencies are all messed up and we're being controlled like fucking puppets. But I really don't think that they can touch our spirit. And I'll give you one really quick thing, because I know I can dominate this sometimes. I just had a conversation with a really good friend of mine who I haven't talked to in years and years. And he had a near-death experience where he actually died. They proclaimed him dead. And he ended up being in a coma for years, I think 2 years. And I said, well, what happened? And he said, it was a matrix. And I knew that the Illuminati were there and they wanted me to keep playing the game. And I knew I kept trying to like run out of the hospital, but I knew I was trapped. And I went into a coma. And he said, after that, he was targeted. He had his house robbed. Both legs were broken, beaten up by gang stalkers. He had all his original artwork taken, and he's a brilliant illustrator. And he was broke, flat broke. And he had, I don't remember, and I'm gonna have to ask him, he had a vision, again. He said he got knocked unconscious and he saw Satan himself. And Satan said, you know, look, I'm your father. And the guy said, no, you're not. He said, my father is God, Jesus Christ is my savior, and the Holy Spirit is my protector. And Satan threw a bolt of lightning at him. And I know my friend, he's not nuts. And in this vision or whatever it was, Satan threw a bolt of lightning at him, threw him like tens of feet away. To this day, he has a walker. And the guy and my friend looked at Satan and said, that's all you got? And they left him alone, and Satan left him alone, and it never happened since. So I'm just saying, it's pretty weird, huh?
Well, here's the thing though, and this is interesting because I've actually spoken to a lot of people who've had near-death experiences. And when we talk about the programming, we talk about going on the premise of the way we've been programmed over and over again,
Yeah.
where each we come back, right? That's what religion is a programming.
Absolutely.
And
Believe me, I went through many dark nights of the soul. Many.
The people who, for example, come from a Christian background have very similar experiences.
Mm-hmm.
People who come from a Hindu background have very, very different experiences because their experiences of near death or afterlife or true death experiences are based on their conditioning, based on their programming. So
Right.
whenever I hear these stories, I mean, we have
No. Mind you, this guy was not a Christian.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
Oh, he
You can
grew
have
up
a lot
in
of
the
people
United
who are
States.
not a Christian,
Yeah.
but well, if you were from America, if you're
Yeah.
from Canada, England, you are overwhelmed with it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you can
But
say,
he
I'm not
was
religious, I'm
about
not-
as new age as they come.
Yeah, I
His
know, but-
artwork was
but
so
the-
new age, I didn't even like it.
Oh, I know, but this is the thing. Even the New Age is based on Christianity.
It is, yeah. When you get down to it.
Vast portion of it is based on Christianity. So all
Yeah,
I'm
but the
saying,
one difference is we can all be God. Yeah.
yeah, but here's the thing. You still have an overlay.
Mhm.
And when I
The imagery is deeply embedded in our subconscious, whether we're
Right.
actions or not.
exactly.
I mean, I grew up in a household where, like I've said many times before, God and Jesus were spoken of regularly, but it was because somebody was swearing. But so it was not religion was not part of my upbringing. And yet the imagery, the general story,
Yeah.
it's all deeply embedded in my subconscious.
Yep.
I think it's in our DNA.
Yeah.
Well, like you say, actually, it's funny because Lily's in the chat room, and I can remember the conversation that we had. Oh God, I don't even remember, way before, and we were talking about recycling of the souls, and the soul keeps coming back, and it keeps going through, and it's used as basically the energy is taken off of it, et cetera, et cetera. And each time that soul goes back, it comes in through that overlay, and it comes through that similar programming. So it becomes on multi-levels. It's not just, it's like why you get people who go through hypnotic therapy, and they can repeat certain things because the programming is so deep.
Mhm.
It's not just one lifetime. It could be 100 lifetimes that they've been under that.
I personally don't believe in reincarnation, even though I used to go to reincarnation therapy. I personally don't. I actually think that has been mind controlled. I think that we have been mind controlled from birth. And we've had weird shit, just weird shit. That's all
Well,
I can say.
we don't know anything. That's
No.
we
Can I
don't
ask-
know anything, you know.
Can I ask you, you were saying that you had a theory on the second sun thing. I want to get that before.
Oh, yeah. How did we connect that? We connected it with,
The hologram, the overlay.
yeah, I'm working on it. I think I lost my train of thought. I think what it is knowing who you are and the strength that you have as a human being, as a created person of God, and also living a life that is true to who that is. Like, if you really do believe that God is love, then you're not going to walk around sinning. If that's really what you want in your life, it's not like anyone has to tell you, but it happens. And I think, what?
First of all, you have to define sin.
Well, sin by definition, and
Right.
at least in several of the words, is missing the mark. So it means you didn't hit the target, whatever that target might have been. And I think ultimately that would be love, right? I mean, that's sort of the bottom line of everything. But I'm off track, and I don't want to spin you with my craziness. So I'll see if I can come up with any more ideas and mention them in the chat room, though.
Thank you.
Well, the whole second sun thing is interesting if you talk about the hologram. Even if you talk about the idea of being
That's what it was.
hologram, and there could be an outer hologram that's being shone down, that they're no longer coinciding, and that's why you're seeing a second sun. Or the moon,
Maybe unless there's a reflection.
or the moon's doing this, and it looks almost like the moon's a hologram.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. We can't really tell what's going on with the moon right now because we don't even know what position it holds. We don't know how the sun and the moon travel, really.
To me, the overwhelming evidence is there that it's not what we're told. It's not a solid
Right.
orb.
And we
I've seen
can't,
too much
we
things
shouldn't
that
be
are
able to see it
transparent.
that far away, and it's
And-
all bullshit.
And it's not where it's supposed to be most of the time.
No.
It,
And I also don't know there is something happening on the frequency level, and there's something happening with, CERN, and that can affect all atmospheric conditions. And so, but again, it just might be being affected on another level, on a holographic level, and being replicated here because it is interacting with us and our own personal darkness. They have to be able to summon these airplane pilots somehow. There's something in these airplane pilots: greed, insecurity. Most of them don't have families, the ones that I've heard of.
Absolutely. But that's not just these airline pilots. That's also, your mercenary, your Blackwater, your
Exactly.
police that you see doing these.
So all they have to do
is they're being
is
handed.
interact. I'm sorry. If they interact with them on a whole, let's just imagine there's a double of all of us in this whole world, like a mirror. You know how common that is in the Illuminati, in all of the programming, the movies and the TV and all that. Let's suppose then that we are being operated on another plane, on a holographic level in their field, but really all it's doing is drawing the worst out of us. And we can create hell or we can create heaven. And they can only interact with us if we're willing to let that shield of who we are, a creator of God, a co-creator on this earth, and then we suddenly let in greed and all hell breaks out. It's just an idea. That's what I was trying to get at. Sorry, long way
you
around.
just got me pondering mirror, mirror on the wall.
Yeah, their
Yeah.
mirrors, they use, listen, at working for Disney and ABC, mirrors got to be everywhere. That's a big deal for them. You get to know the symbols because they make you put them in there. They tell you, we got to have this, if not, not enough reflection, go back and make more stardust, more reflection. It's really funny.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, Lisa, the one building, right? That I told you that I've been back to multiple times now.
The one in
The
Italy?
one thing- Yep. The one thing that John and I clearly remember was the mirror.
Do you know what the World Trade Center looks like now?
Ornate mirror.
The World Trade Center is one big mirror.
Huh.
That's all. You can barely look at it. It's blinding.
Well, think about all the new, you go to downtown Toronto, every freaking building is mirrored now. They're all
Yeah.
freaking mirrors. You go on a bright sunny day, like you say, you're almost blinded by it.
Yeah. And so that to me is the hologram. That they're really on the opposite side of us, which should give you a little bit of comfort. Really, it's up to you how you respond.
Hmm.
You know how, remember Kara St. Louis talks about, you know, that zero gravity, but you can't get involved in somebody else's bullshit because you're going to interact with their demons.
Well, we've been doing a lot of not interacting
Yeah.
with people's demons lately.
But I
You
didn't.
can mute me now.
Well, thanks for calling in. You've left us some stuff to really look at and think about. So I appreciate
It's what I live with. Thanks.
Join the crazy club. Talk to you soon. Okay, that was. I mean, it ties in. It's just a slight tweak on the way I've been looking at it already. But it's.
Well, I mean, so you take the pieces and you add the other pieces with that piece, and you put those pieces all in that one place, and you look at them again.
Well, we've actually been doing this for nearly 2 hours now. So, is there anything that that's gone quick? Is there anything else that you wanted to go off on a tangent on before we? Because we normally leave it to like the last 2 minutes and go, "Oh, I remember."
Oh, wait, but I remember. Yeah, no, I don't really have anything, really. I don't want to talk politics. I'm kind of back to ignoring the news again.
Well, the thing that really sort of got me this week was often on these shows and on Transformative News and others, you sort of focused on what's happening in the now. But what I love about your brain and the way your brain works is that you've got everything filed away. So yes, we're looking at incidences that are happening now, but we have an opportunity not to look at them in isolation, but to take the macro perspective and tie them to, but that's connected to what happened 6 months ago and something else that happened 18 months ago. And then there was that little piece that happened, you know, and actually put them together that way and take a look at the bigger picture. So I've been doing that ever since I was reminded of these little Obama blips with his microphone. And it was like, okay, stepping back and taking a look at the bigger picture again and having a look at the last few years, more of a macro view, because it's very easy because there's so much going on and so much distraction to just keep bouncing from one thing to the next and missing the bigger picture again. So I think it's interesting why all of these things are starting to come back. Like having another look at Yellow Rose from Texas. Now that we've got the flat earth,
A different perspective.
we've got different perspectives. Let's bring another that piece back in again and see how it fits. There are a lot of pieces that I've looked at, you know, the Wingmakers, exactly. Other pieces that we've looked at over the last few years that we picked up, took a little piece from, and then put the rest back down. So, okay, maybe it's time now to bring a bit more of that back in. And doing that from the spiritual perspective with those sorts of materials. Oh, that's an interesting look. As well as on the political and geopolitical scene.
And that's funny. That's exactly what I've been doing this week. And it's kind of funny because last week's show kind of triggered me to go back and look at some of my own personal stuff and look at and remember things like some of the dreams, some of the other place workings, et cetera, and go, oh, I've got a different perspective on that now. It's kind of interesting. You see things differently. So it's not just even on the global stage or the various pieces of the puzzle, like we say, like Wingmakers, or some of the stuff that Yellow Rose of Texas put out, even some of the stuff that Heather talked about. And even looking at it in my own interpretation is just some of my own personal shit, and kind of go through it again and going, oh, that's really interesting.
Just to help somebody out in the chat room, I can actually save the chat and we can post it in the Facebook group as
Awesome, please.
a as a little document, I guess, that you can grab from there.
Yep.
And yes, I will post the live shows. We were trying to do something clever with the green screen business, but it didn't work. So I'll just be
Every
time somebody joined the conversation and their camera came on, and it just messed everything up, and it didn't happen. So we'll just have to post them as is. And who's frozen again, or is it me? Thanks, Phil. D. Okay, good. Now that Social Go website, the Unfuckers Room, I've tried cancelling it. I've cancelled it from PayPal, but I saw that a couple of some people's payments went through, the couple of dollars. So go to your own PayPal account, please, and cancel payments to it, so that we're not going to go with that site anymore. It just doesn't work for us. We'll just stay with Facebook for now. What's the other thing I had to say? Other bit of news. There was another bit of news. I'm sorry, I can't remember. Can you take a quick poll? Absolutely. Sheila has a poll for everybody. Do you want to just do it in the chat room? Or there is actually a polling facility on there somewhere. But Sheila, yeah, go for it. Oh, you want to unmute? Sure. You there?
Well, just real quick, I thought I'd ask if anybody wanted to maybe get together in Zoom for a bit of a collective meditation because of all the energetics. I know you're not doing collective imagination right now, but I thought we could maybe, if anybody was interested, just maybe put up a time in the Unfuckers Room where we could all, I don't know, come over and just do a little bit of a collective thing together because of the energetics is all I was thinking.
That sounds like a lovely idea. All right.
Okay.
Tomorrow at the normal time, like the same time tomorrow, could work if that works for everybody. But certainly put something in the Facebook room and see if you get any takers. I'll create the room for you and put a link in there to go with.
Oh, okay. That would be awesome. Would you maybe show up too?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'll start a thread over in the Unfuckers Room and we'll see if we can get any takers. I didn't want to put you on the spot. I don't know. I thought it was important. I keep getting these feelings that all the planets are moving direct. We have solstice tonight. We have the full moon. Something feels big about this energy. And I thought if we could all get together and do a collective, I don't know. Oh yeah, I like what Jeff said, a collective observing even. You know, just something good. I don't know, on love. Yeah, that's a good. My sister just said maybe on love. We could just focus on love, period.
Period, yeah. Okay.
You know?
D, you've frozen again. I don't know if you can hear us. Can you? No, doesn't sound like. Okay, well, look for that in the Facebook group, everybody. And if you're not on, is everyone on Facebook? I think they are. Yes, in that group. Yes, Linda. Well, thanks, guys. Today was very interesting and went very, very quickly, as it usually does. Thanks to those who called in and contributed, and those who contributed in the chat room. Thank you very much. We will possibly get together tomorrow and do a collective observing. That sounds like fun. Otherwise, we will be, I think, taking some time off the next week or so, back in the new year after New Year, with a new platform. We've got some really interesting events that we're hoping to pull together. Have an amazing, whatever you want to call it, over the next 2 weeks, whether it's Christmas or something else. Just have a nice time, have a relax, have some rest, have some laughs, have a good time with people that you love. Just shake it all off. Shake off 2015. It's been a big one. And ready for whatever's coming next. Love to you all. Thank you to everybody for your involvement, your cooperation, your participation, your love, your support, everything over the last year. And see you next year. Bye from Dee. Bye from me. See you soon.
Hello and welcome to the One People Show.